Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, True Brilliance, back with a video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Mars, okay? We're going to be talking about that masculine energy and how it expresses itself in the natal chart. Now, your Mars placement is very important. A lot of the times it's often overlooked by astrologers or just by the average person when looking at your natal chart. But our Mars energy, it talks about how we express our masculinity, and it talks about how we go after our desires, how we go after achieving what it is that we want. So Mars actually plays a major role in manifesting. You know how when they say you put it out into the universe what it is that you want, right? So that's mainly like Venus. Venus is our desires as well. Venus is what we want, what we are attracted to, okay? So obviously what we are attracted to is what we want to experience in our reality. So Venus is kind of like a wish that we make. It's like a wish, us wishing upon a star. Like, I would like to experience this reality. I would like to experience this lover. I would like to experience this person, right? And then Mars is the actions and the steps that you take in order to achieve that, because you know how they always say you ask for something and then you have to take action. Okay, so Mars is the actual taking action. Okay, you just can't wish for stuff or want stuff but don't take action in your reality in order to get it. So taking action and the desire of wanting to obtain something work hand in hand. So Venus is wanting to obtain something and wanting to have something, because remember, Venus is I have, right? And Mars is how you go about getting what it is that you will eventually have, okay? So you have to take action in order to achieve your desires. So that is what we're going to talk about, getting into the Mars placements. Now, some people are really at a huge advantage when it comes to their Mars placements. In my opinion, the best Mars placements are Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Aries, Mars in Scorpio, and Mars in Leo. To me, those are the four most powerful Mars placements, okay? Now, the weakest Mars placements are Mars in Cancer, which I have, Mars in Cancer, Mars in Taurus, Mars in Libra, and Mars in Pisces, okay? I would say would be like the weakest Mars placements, okay? The weak Mars placements are strong in other areas, and I will talk about that when we get into the Mars series. So let's talk about rulership of Mars. Mars naturally rules Aries and Scorpio, okay? So Aries is external Mars and Scorpio is internal Mars, okay? So this is why they say Scorpio is intense, okay? So because it's an inner tension, okay? That's Mars. Okay, the inner buildup, the fire building up inside of yourself. It's passion. That's what Mars and Scorpio is. Okay, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Okay, so Mars does very well in Capricorn. I think Mars in Capricorn is almost the strongest Mars placement. I've seen Mars in Capricorn in action, and it's very powerful. And Mars falls in, it's in detriment in Libra, and it falls in Cancer, okay? And that's because Cancer is the opposite of its exaltation, and Libra is the opposite of its home, which is in Aries, okay? Taurus as well, because it naturally rules Scorpio as well, okay? So we're going to get into Mars through all of the signs for you guys to understand your Mars placement better and how your Mars energy expresses itself. One thing that you need to learn about your Mars is do not fight against your Mars, okay? That's not going to get you anywhere in life, fighting against your Mars. If anybody knows this, it's me with my Mars in Cancer. You have to learn how to go with the flow of your Mars placement, and you just gotta kind of accept your losses. If you have a weak Mars placement, you have to accept your losses and learn how to work within the energy of that sign, okay, if you want to get anything done at all. Mars also rules your energy levels, okay? So this is another thing that a lot of people don't know, is that Mars rules your energy levels, okay? So people that like have Mars in Cancer or Mars in Taurus, they have very low energy levels, okay? So they may need to exercise more or just do things to become more active because they can have low vitality. So when your Mars is in like a feminine sign, you can have low vitality. You don't have that much energy. People that have like Mars and fire signs, you'll notice that they're very energetic. They have a lot of energy to burn. Sometimes it's hard for them to sit still. Okay, Mars also rules our sexuality. People don't talk about this, but Mars rules how we express our sexuality, okay? Because if you think about it, the sexual act is something that is very Mars-like in nature because you're exerting your energy, right? That's why people sweat. That's why people are hot. That's why people are out of breath. That's why it feels like, you know, afterwards, like you just got done running miles, okay, at the park. You're tired, right? You're tired after it. So that's why literally Mars rules sex, and a lot of people don't know about that, okay? But Mars rules how we like doing that, and it also rules what we are attracted to when doing that, and what turns us on, what gets our fire going, because Mars is our inner fire. So it's our fire and desire. Y'all know what I mean? So this is what gets our engines going, okay? We are going to be talking about that as well when discussing the Mars placements. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about Mars in Sagittarius, okay? So this, to me, is a really interesting one. It can have a lot of different sides to it. Like, it can definitely have its strong points, but then it can have its weak points as well. So let's just get into all of it, okay? So Mars in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is mutable fire, okay? And mutable means changeable, so changeable fire. So Mars can kind of be all over the place in Sagittarius. It definitely loves its freedom. Mars and Sagittarius people love their freedom. They love their space, and they can feel boxed in a lot. So if they feel boxed in, they can be very rebellious and like wanting to free themselves and wanting to go out and explore and do what they want to do without having people tell them what to do. In fact, Mars in Sagittarius doesn't like people telling them what to do, okay? And they can be very forceful that way, and they can be very confrontational that way if you cross them. So Mars in Sagittarius can be another one that's kind of like a hothead. So it's like, you know, because Mars is our willpower, and with Mars being in that fire, it's like Mars and Sagittarius can be very blunt, so they can be the type of people that's going to say exactly what's on their mind. And do not try to limit them in any way, okay? Because it's going to be met with confrontation. It's going to be met, it's just not going to be well received, because a person that has Mars and Sagittarius does not like to be controlled. Because you guys have to remember, Sagittarius is a sign of freedom and exploration. So with Mars and Sagittarius, you really have to give them a lot of time to roam. You can't put restrictions on them. You can't put time limits on them. They really like to explore at their own pace and whatever it is that they want to do that, okay? Mars and Sagittarius people actually can make really good teachers, because you have to remember Sagittarius is the sign of the higher mind. So Mars and Sagittarius people love to learn. They may even put a lot of their energy into learning, into studying, and to just delving into things that are outside of their comfort zone as far as what it is that they know. So these people are naturally explorers. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know, when people talk about Sagittarius, they always just talk about them being travelers, okay, and explorers. But explorer is not just an explorer of the physical realm, it's also explorer of the mind, of the mental, okay? So a lot of Mars and Sagittarius people think outside of the box, and they are free thinkers, okay? And they also don't like people limiting their mind and what it is that they think, because they're very free when it comes to their thoughts and their beliefs. And they'll also let that be known to you, because Mars and Sagittarius can be seen as a sign of communication as well, but it's this communication of the higher mind, where Gemini is the communication of the lower mind. Okay, so nonetheless, travel is very good for Mars and Sagittarius people. So traveling will do wonders for you guys. If you guys feel frustrated, or if you guys get bored, travel somewhere. Take a trip if you can afford it, because that will reset your mind and that will reset your energy, because our Mars placement represents our energy levels, okay? And for Mars and Sagittarius to keep their energy levels up, they need to constantly be seeing new things or taking in new information that is outside of their comfort, which is outside of the ordinary, or outside of what it is that they already know. Mars and Sagittarius will put a lot of energy into discovery, just discovering new things. Mars and Sagittarius people may also feel very comfortable living in a foreign country, or just living somewhere where they can absorb or take in other cultures, or cultures that are different from them. They may like to learn different languages and things like that, because Mars and Sagittarius people like being very cultured. Like, they like knowing about things that are outside of the little box that they grew up in. So this is a very good position for all types of travel, exploration, and going abroad, okay? Or even like going from city to city. Staying on the move. So staying on the move is something that a Mars and Sagittarius needs to do all the time. So I already talked about how Mars and Gemini people can be busybodies. Mars and Sagittarius people can definitely be busybodies. It can be very hard to tie them down. So it's like, if you're in a relationship with them, like I said, you really have to allow them a lot of freedom and space to roam and do their own thing. Just decide to do things at the last minute. They're very spontaneous. So when they just decide they want to do something, they're just going to go. And if you're somebody that's always nagging at them or always telling them dangers of what it is they're doing, they're not going to like that. Okay, so they need to be free to do what they want to do when they want to do it, without having to check in with someone or ask someone. Mars and Sagittarius can also be kind of quick to anger, so you need to watch out for that, because Mars is in fire. And whenever Mars is in fire, that anger can flare up very fast. They can also be very dramatic people, so they can kind of not necessarily take things to the extreme, but they can like blow things up a lot bigger than they need to be, just for the drama of it. So these people are very dramatic. Kind of similar to Mars and Leo, very, very self-expressive. Now, when it comes to sexuality, Mars and Sagittarius, they like an adventure. These may be the type of people that like to do it outdoors, do it in the wild, do it in the woods, do it in the back of a car, do it at a restaurant, do it in a plane bathroom. You know, like they're like, let's try something different. Let's get outside of our comfort zone. Let's, you know, go outside the ordinary. A Mars and Sagittarius person is definitely not the type of person that's going to want to do it every single day, same way, same style. In the bedroom, you know, no exploration, no change of scenery, because you have to remember Sagittarius is about change of scenery. So if you're with a Mars and Sagittarius, be adventurous, okay? Think of things that are out of the ordinary for them, because they can get bored very easily. And that's something else that you need to know about Mars and Sag. They can lose interest very easily, and they can get bored very easily. So adventure, fun, learning of new information are things that are very important to them. They're also very much attracted to intelligence as well. So they value intelligent and cultured people, you know, being very cultured. That's what will get their fire going. Somebody that's been traveled around the world, or they've had a lot of different life experiences, because Mars and Sagittarius is about having a lot of different life experiences. With these people, you know, back to the sexuality, they can be very wild, you know. Sagittarius is an animalistic sign. All the fire signs are animalistic. You know, they're very primal. So, you know, They may take control as well, the women and the men. Even the women, they may be the type that will take control when it comes to that, because Mars and Sagittarius knows what they want. This is not the sign or the energy that's going to hesitate about what their desires are. They know what it is that they want, and you better give it to them, or else they're just going to move on to the next, because most likely they have options, boo. Okay, Sagittarians are very popular, you know, they attract a lot of people to them. You know, they can make friends with anyone, anywhere that they go. So you're dealing with someone that is able to make connections, and that is, you know, somebody that can be popular with people from all walks of life, from all different backgrounds. So, I think that, you know, this is a pretty good placement. It's a good placement. Mars being in fire is always good, because Mars is fire. So for it to be in a fire sign is very good. But I would just say Mars and Sagittarius needs to focus on their focus. They need to focus on their focus. So you need to make sure, Mars and Sagittarius, when you start something, that you finish it. Because sometimes you guys can have your energy spread too thin, and you guys can have your hands in too many pots, and then you're not able to finish what it is that you started. So that's one thing that could be a huge issue for you guys. So just try to see things through to your completion. If you're somebody that has a lot of fixed signs and then you have Mars and Sagittarius, this can work very well for you. But if you're somebody that's very mutable, or you have a lot of water energy, or even if you have a lot of air energy, it's like sometimes you can lack that groundedness and that stability that Mars needs in order to get stuff done. Because you guys have to remember, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, which is a cardinal earth sign. So it's like you have to have a plan. You have to know what it is that you're doing. You have to plan ahead, which sometimes Mars and Sagittarius doesn't like to do, because you guys are very spontaneous and you guys kind of live in the moment. So just a few things for you guys to watch out for. But overall, I would say this is a good position, a fun position, definitely adventurous, definitely will take you to many parts of the world and to experience many things. So if you have Mars and Sag, put a comment down below. Let me know what house it's in and what your experience is, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.